Your little basket. You ready to go? You all set? Yeah. You ready? Yeah. Alright, come on. Let's go. So, 10 and 3/4. 10.
This is easy to do.
Last weekend I started to foam around the windows, but I ran out, so I got a few more cans, and that is the first thing I'm going to do this morning. Yesterday we installed the door and it was easier than I thought. It was heavy, but we got it in. We also started working on the soffit. It's looking really good so far. My dad was installing them and I was cutting the pieces, but we got half the building done, so we're also going to finish that half, and then we're going to put strapping around the windows, I believe. So let's see what we get up to today. Okay, we're ready. Come on in. It's not easy to get into this house right now. I got in here and I realized there was no ladder, and the windows that I have to spray foam are the ones up top in the loft. So we're gonna see if I can get a ladder through this door. Oh, what's caught in my shirt? There we go. We did it. Okay, so last time I did this, I didn't wear gloves and I had the foam on my fingers for literally 4 days after the fact. I scrubbed, I tried butter, I exfoliated. Nothing was getting that shit off my fingers but time and patience. So I am wearing gloves this time. That was my bad. It literally says it on the lid. You'd think I'd read it? No. I also think I ruined whatever clothes I was wearing. All of my clothes is quickly becoming more clothes. And with that being said, I'm gonna take this sweater off first. I have 3 turtlenecks on and it was cozy for sleeping, but it's getting hot. Okay, look at that. Now we're just down to 2 layers. Okay, I got the gloves, the foam, the ladder. Let's get that top window. Our neighbors gave us some locally picked pears. Here's one that I have not bitten into. Very organic, unique shapes. And they're so good. Oh my god. I'm not even a big pear person, but this pear, unmatched. Unfortunately, I cracked the wood. This is all getting covered, so we're just gonna keep it anyways. like a mess. I just got to the pottery studio and I have 1 hour to glaze 5 pieces. I'm really slow at glazing, so let's see if I can do this, because then I have to go to Home Hardware and a siding store to match some color samples. So we're kind of in a rush before they close. Let's dip. Let's do it. My bottoms are clean. I double dipped these. We're good to go. Here are my glaze pieces in the kiln room. I bet you they're gonna go in this one. Clean. Okay, so these are my color options. I just got home, and what you last seen in the vlog, I went to Home Hardware to pick up some samples because I am trying to pick out my siding colors. I ordered a faux stone siding for the bottom half of the front side of my home. However, at Home Hardware, they only have that siding available online, and they don't have any testers in the store, so you can't actually see the proper color. But there is another siding place in town that has the exact same siding, and they have a color swatch, so you can actually see like a little piece of it in real life. I originally went there to get a quote for the siding, and it was nearly triple the cost it would be to order the same thing from Home Hardware. Or sorry, I ordered it from Rona actually. Same thing, different store, same thing. So ultimately I decided not to go with the siding place that was very expensive. They had nice siding, don't get me wrong, but it was very pricey. Like I said, I went to Home Hardware and I got samples, and then I had to drive across town before the siding store closes so I could put my little color swatches up against the faux brick or the faux stone. And see, because the brand of traditional siding that he sells is different, so the color palette was slightly different than the one at Home Depot. That was a different brand, but the faux stone was literally the same brand. So these are the 3 that I'm gravitating towards. I feel like a beauty vlogger when I do this. Now, I'm kind of torn because I did really like the look of the dark up against the stone. My only reservation is that all of my details around the windows and the door are white, so I don't know if that's gonna look out of place. Also, if you go with the dark color, it tends to heat up the building more in the summer, and the front side is the side that I get the most light. I like the heat, so I don't know if it's a big issue for me. And the other 2 options are very similar to the color of not the stone, but like the grout type of thing in between the stones. I'll insert a clip if I took one. So I'm kind of torn between these three. But anyways, that is all the running around I had to do today. They closed at an awkward time, so it's just a matter of making it across town on time. But we did it, and I'm going to sit and marinate on that because I don't know. So we're gonna see. Anyways, that's my spiel. We're off this morning to go visit some friends of mine. They bought property nearby, and there's lots of cool old vintage treasures in the home, and they're clearing it out today, so we're off to go help them. And I'm gonna try to get some footage of the cool things in the home. Here's my hand just to show you how large this tool is. Wow. And that is what bends the metal that goes around there.
Go, pull down, push up.
This one here has already been framed with the metal.
I literally bent the metal back over itself, so it's 2 layers thick right here.
Wow.
And then I did 1 fold here that I still gotta play with right now.
Yeah, that looks really good. And we're done this side here.
For sure, this hand.
Please let me explain my very random ceramic setup that's taking over the dining room table. I have a very big market coming up on November 16th, and I've been slowly collecting ceramic pieces I've made throughout the summer, and I have this underlying fear that I do not have enough stock because these are all the ceramics I have, and I have a month and a half left before the market. So I took everything out and I'm kind of just placing it to see how full I can get the table. I'm not being too meticulous about the display. I just want to get a rough idea of how much space I've filled and what I have left. So far, it's not too bad. What I am seeing is I definitely need more mugs, bigger pieces, and plates. I have a lot of little trinket dishes, but I don't have very many mugs. This is the biggest piece I have here. And maybe some more bowls. What I do like is how the colors kind of fade into one another. So I have the earthy tones here, then I have just the clear glazed painted pieces up front. Over here we kind of gradually go into the greens. I love, 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 love this glaze combo. I just recently discovered it with our studio glazes, and it is dark green with French vanilla dipped over top, and I think it's so beautiful. I have 2 mugs in the kiln right now that have this exact glaze combo on them, and it looks really nice with the white clay. So I need to make more pieces like this. And then on the far end, I don't know if it's in the screen, but the far end I have my darker pieces. So these are blue and green. So I have a little bowl here, another crinkle bowl, and these are like my darkest pieces. So I'm gonna have them on the opposite end from the cream pieces. Having laid everything out like this definitely helps me visualize what I need and kind of fill in all the gaps. I would like to have maybe double the inventory that I do now. I do think that is a little bit ambitious of me, but I do need to keep in mind I have made a lot more pieces than what's on the table. I have been gradually selling them throughout the summer, so a lot of the pieces, especially like the more detailed, like the flower mugs and stuff like that, I've been lucky enough to basically sell those as soon as they're made. They never last too long, so I literally have not even posted these pieces for sale because I know I need to have more pieces for the market. God, let's not break anything. I would love to make another dragonfly mug. I absolutely love this baby. She's so cute. Maybe if I did more in different colors, but this took so long to make. It's just so crazy to know how much time and work I put into making everything, and then to see it all laid out in front of me. It looks like not a lot, but I have a deeper appreciation for it. I do think I will be selling jewelry at this market too, so that will help fill the table. But we're off to an okay start. We're gonna see how much I can get done in a month and a half. Today is the first day of October, and this is what we're working with. Some real talk before I end this video. I love creating, and I'm so thankful that I get to spend my time making art. I think for a lot of people, myself included, it's really easy to paint this picture and romanticize life as an artist and how beautiful it must be and how you get to frolic around and find inspiration and dilly-dally and make art, when I've quickly realized that is not the reality of it at all. There are moments of this joy and adventure and bliss, but when most of your income depends on selling your artwork, it can be quite stressful at times. In my experience, selling at markets is very hit or miss. I've had very great markets, and I have had some where I have not done so well. And to be honest, the past few markets I've attended have not been my best. Luckily, things align perfectly, and I've been able to pick up some shifts at the cafe that I was working at. And I know this is only temporary, especially with the busiest market season coming up soon. It's something that you just have to stay steady at and be consistent, and I know a good market will come. With that being said, I'm still so thankful for everybody who comes by and looks at my work, or even just stops by and says hello. And of course, anybody who's ever purchased from me, it really does mean the world to me. Doing what I do can sometimes feel like a balancing act between fulfilling my creative sparks and my desire to create from the heart, but also partly making things that sell. And it's hard because there's pros and cons to tipping the scale either way. But ultimately, I do think there's so much more reward when you create from your heart, and that is what I strive to do all the time. But I would be lying if I said there wasn't times where I'm in the studio and I'm feeling stressed and overwhelmed and I just want to create as many pieces as I can possibly create in one night. And it seems like every time that happens, I either can't center, my handles end up cracked, there's issues with the firing. When I am not creating from a place of ease, there's so many little things that go wrong. And sometimes the stress of feeling like I need to do more and push myself harder can really just be at the forefront of my mind when in reality, maybe that day I just need to take a step back and recharge and not create. Because if I'm creating from a place where my cup isn't full, my creations reflect that, and that's never what I want. There's so many pieces that will never see the light of day because they are not up to my standard, and even those, I do think it's worth making them anyways because you learn from them, and I have learned a lot from the pieces of mine that have not turned out, or the pieces that have turned out that I just didn't like in the end. Usually that is when I'm too heavily influenced by the world around me. Laying all of my pieces out today and seeing them in front of me felt heartwarming in a way, and I do see that I still have a lot of work ahead. I don't think I ever really go into a market feeling completely ready, and I've just come to accept that because I know I can strive to do better the next market and the next market. Because being where I am today, looking back at my first markets, I just cringe at my offerings and the table setup. But I also remember being so proud back in that moment. So growth is important, reflection is important, and perseverance is also very important. Anyways, thank you for listening to me ramble. I think I'm just gonna end the video here. I hope you liked this week's vlog. Thank you for being here. I love you.